Adding a touch of elegance to our digital communications can be tough in today's social media-driven world. Our next guest is an etiquette expert who has a knack for bringing the thoughtfulness of pen pals and love letters to today's online communication. Let's welcome Heather Weiss of Bell & Vito. Hello, Heather.
Hello.
Yes, okay, so I'm excited to have you talk about this because, I mean, so many of us, we use social media on the daily, on a regular basis. So let's jump into what exactly is mindful posting on social media.
So it's not going anywhere, right? We all need to kind of think a little bit more before we tap these things out.
Yes.
So it's just what it sounds like. And I like to put it into 3 quick buckets. First of all, you are your brand. I mean, it's a buzzword, but really your reputation is built on everything that you do. So that social media footprint is no different. That's adding to what people think of you, employers that look at you. When young people are applying for scholarships, you really need to think about what you post.
Yeah.
So mindful posting is really important. I also like to talk about the golden rule of posting. So, you know, only post content about others like you would want them to post about you. So whether that's a picture that may not be flattering or a comment that may be something better in a DM or better like texted as opposed to putting in their comments, really think about what you're posting. And last, it's just what not to post.
Yeah.
The TMI and the cryptic messages and those things where you're going, is something wrong? Should I check on them?
Yeah.
You really think about what you're posting.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned mindful posting, especially when you're thinking about an employer down the line, because maybe something you posted 6-10 years ago can come up. We've seen that happen with celebrities, so you just want to be cautious. Like you said, it's your brand.
It is.
So make sure you're thinking wisely. When it comes to commenting on social media, what are the guidelines we should follow to keep it classy?
Again, I think anything that you wouldn't say to someone's face, definitely don't say in a comment. I think if you are having an emotional reaction, I always like to say, take a pause. Don't just type it out really quick and hit send.
Yes.
Because it's out there once it's out there. I also think that you should definitely think about what should be commented and what should be, again, DM'd, texted, something like that. I think especially with young people, it's such a communication tool, and they forget that there might be other forms of communication that might be more appropriate depending on what the comment is.
Yeah, I think sometimes too on social media, there's like hot topics or videos that are outrageous, and so you're gonna see a lot of the back and forth and arguing in comments.
Right.
Maybe avoid that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what are some editing tips to keep in mind? Tell us kind of the do's and don'ts there.
I like to think of the editing tool as something to help you correct a typo and not something to necessarily lean on because you didn't think before you posted. I mean, you definitely, if you need to edit something or delete a comment altogether, but once it's out there, it is out there.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be afraid of the editing tool if you just need to, you know, your thumb hit something wrong. But I wouldn't lean on it too heavily.
Yes. How can we create healthy boundaries with social media? Because it's hard. I mean, we're scrolling a lot throughout the day. So how can we create those healthy boundaries for our mental well-being?
Yes, absolutely. The science is showing us more and more that scrolling, especially in the morning when you first wake up and right before you go to bed at night, is not good for our brains. It's causing brain fog. It's causing all kinds of breakdowns and patterns that aren't healthy for us.
Yeah.
So we need to really think about timing those things out. Be really cognizant of how long you spend scrolling, how long you spend on social media. And first and foremost, when you have someone sitting in front of you, that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Put the phone away and save that for some alone time and some limited alone time.
Yes. I 100% agree with that because I've been out with like friends and we're at dinner, but then there's the phone and there's this going on and you kind of feel like, am I important to you? Because you seem distracted.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we make sure we're showing up authentically on social media? Because it can be a facade. Absolutely.
I think, you know, there's some sort of boundary that we all have to establish between overthinking and not thinking, right? So I think be yourself, comment on what you love, unfollow and mute the things that really trigger you so that you don't get tempted to say some things that you might regret later or sarcasm, you know, that might not be read that way because people read things differently. I always say, think about 3 things when you post. Think about reading it as an editor, like reread it before you hit post, as a kind of your own editor. Reread it as your grandmother would hear it. You know, reread your words again and reread it like as a boss would hear it. And so I think if you you'll show up as your best authentic version of yourself, because we've all got multiple sides of our personalities, right? So you'll show up as your best self authentically if you just read with a little self-awareness.
There we go. We like that. Heather, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yes, and to our viewers, you can tap into modern elegance by going to bellandvito.com.